What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazik, aka Unique Mazik. I am the hardest working man in sports and gaming, and I got another Madden video for you today. And we're talking let me just say this. I interrupt myself a lot, so y'all get used to that. But I'm pretty excited for Madden so far this year. I feel like I have a really good set of expectations for the game. I don't have this thought that, oh my God, they're about to deliver the thing that is gonna knock my socks off and just all of this. And I have a video where I'm gonna talk about expectations for each mode. You'll probably see that one tomorrow. But for what I'm expecting, I'm pretty excited, right? So I decided to kind of share something with you guys. I don't know what you want to call this kind of video. I don't know what I just kind of, it came to me, right? So, but I'm calling it the first 10 things that I'm gonna do when I get Madden 22. Now, I'll more than likely will get it a little bit early so that I can start working on my review, which is what this kind of whole concept, this is my process. So I'm kind of letting you guys in on a little bit of my process of, one, kind of halfway enjoying a game when I first get it, but also what I do to prepare for giving a review or writing a review for a game. There are some tweaks here and there that go in depending on the game or whether or not I had a playtest version of it, which I did have a playtest version of Madden, so I do have some understanding of what's about to come, so it won't be just like brand new out of nowhere. But yeah, so this is my the 10 things that I'm going to do when I first get Madden 22. So the number one thing I'm going to do, and this is kind of like a tradition for me, this is part evaluation, but it's also part just gaming fan and football fan and Chicago Bears fan. The first thing that I pretty much do every single time I get Madden, once it's fully installed and I get a chance to pick whatever team I want to pick, I play an exhibition game at Soldier Field, controlling the Bears, no matter how good or bad they are that year, against the Packers. I do it every single year. That's what I gotta do. That's gotta be like the first thing I gotta do. I listen to the commentary. I absorb it all. Bears, Packers. I'm here for it. Bring it on. And I try my best to beat the Packers, which is what I hope to see happen twice a year, even though I really love Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Is that okay? I don't think it's okay with a lot of Bears fans. That I am a hardcore, diehard Bears fan, born and raised in Chicago, south side of Chicago, and I love the Bears. Hey, that's my favorite team. No, it's not even close, right? But I really like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I love those dudes. They're fantastic. And I will say this. I've never liked two Green Bay Packer players or any Green Bay Packer players like I like those. As a matter of fact, I can't even really hardly remember another Green Bay Packer player that I was like, I really like that dude. I'd wear that jersey. Well, no, that might be going far. I still wouldn't wear an Aaron Rodgers jersey. Not unless he was playing for someplace else. I wouldn't even wear a Devontae Adams jersey unless he played. I just can't put that on. I would probably break out or something. I might go into one of them if I put a Packers jersey on. And y'all don't want to see me do that, because if I put a Packers jersey on and I go into it, I might record it and share it. So you don't want that. You don't even want to see what I just did again, I'm sure. So yes, but that's that is pretty much the first thing that I do. Number two, I check the rosters and the ratings. And I'm not checking the same. Now with Madden, they pretty much put the whole rating thing out before the game comes out. If you just go to their little screen or web page that they set up, you can kind of scroll through and see everything. But it's still different once you got the game, right? So I go in and I look at the different depth charts and I see who's starting, and I'm like, well, man, he really should be starting. There's only one overall point down, and for the position that this person plays, I value this attribute more because maybe this dude's his speed is 14 points higher than the other, but the other guy's got a really high awareness rating. And I'm like, well, he's playing middle linebacker. I'm probably going to be controlling him. So I don't really, I want the fast guy. So I kind of look and I scout out all that kind of stuff. But I look at the rosters and ratings, and that's usually pretty cool. It doesn't take as long. Well, sometimes it takes longer than the Bears-Packers game. The third thing that I'm going to do is check the creative player options. Now, this might not be the same every year, but one of the things I don't really know that well about this year's Madden is if they're going to have different creative player faces. I've been asked this from my Mazik Speaks podcast and my Q&A, my video mailbag, whatever you want to call it. If you do want to get your question in for Mazik Speaks and have me answer a question on sports video games, all you got to do is hit me on Twitter, hashtag Mazik Speaks, and ask me a question about sports video games, and I'll try to get it into the show. Even if I don't get it in the show, I generally will at least answer on Twitter. So just so you know that. But yes, creative player options will be something that I check to see if the faces are the same. I know they're not going to have any sculpting, because if they were going to do something like that, I think they would have made that a part of the hype. But I don't really think EA cares much about that kind of stuff. If you really want to, I really don't. I don't know why, but they don't. I mean, I kind of know why. Your sport, or I shouldn't say EA, the development team with Madden, or the people that make the decisions with Madden. I kind of know why. The players have helmets on. You don't get a chance to see their face that much anyway, so they probably feel like this is not that important. And I kind of agree. But if that's the route you're going to go, I think you should have way more heads than what they have to choose from. I think you should have like 400 different heads. 400 different heads. Give us spread it out over all different nationalities. And let's go. Different hair lengths and all that kind of stuff. Just give it a bunch of stuff. If I need a light skinned dude with long hair, light skinned dude with short hair, light skinned dude with medium hair, light skinned dude with the goatee, and all of it, all the different combinations. So pretty much no matter who I'm trying to put out here, you give me the options. So I'm gonna look to see. I'm expecting to be disappointed. I don't even know if I'll be disappointed at this point, because I don't expect them to do much on that end. Hopefully I'm pleasantly surprised. I doubt it. All right, the fourth thing that I'm gonna do is start a franchise. So I'm gonna start a franchise, and I'm gonna play. Now, I cover the Patriots on heavy.com. I am a diehard Cam Newton fan. He's my favorite player pretty much of all time. So it's really cool to cover the Patriots while he's playing for them. So that is really dope. And I have grown extremely fond of Bill Belichick over this time period. I went from being to Bill Belichick to, over the last 2 years, being like, I may not agree with everything, maybe whatever he believes politically, which I'm quite sure we probably have some grave differences, considering he, backed certain people. But I still kind of just watching this cat move. There's something admirable about the way he moves from a leadership standpoint and from a I got this standpoint. And I as a one man looking at what, observing the qualities, the leadership qualities of another man, I respect that. And so I've kind of grown fond of Belichick. So it's kind of cool, right? So I have some, that the Patriots are definitely my second team, right? So I'm going to start a franchise with the Bears and the Patriots. Luckily, they don't play each other in the regular season, so I won't have a dilemma or whatever. So I get a chance to kind of play from two different style teams. Both of them have rookie quarterbacks that probably won't be in the start and won't be the QB1 in the depth chart when Madden comes out. But that'll be kind of cool to watch and see. I'm going to tell you right now, I just told you Cam Newton is my favorite player. I don't know when Mac Jones will play. I'm just being honest. I will let Andy Dalton play a little bit. I love Justin Fields. He's my guy. But I will let Andy Dalton play a little bit, and I'll let Justin Fields kind of get into the thing. But, we're going to start off with Cam and Mac. We're going to have to wait. All right, the fifth thing that I'm going to do, which is part of the franchise mode, I'm going to play through 4 weeks. Should be about 8 games. I don't know when their bye weeks land, so it could be 7 games or 6, but should be about 8 games. That's 8 games with listening to commentary and all of that. That ought to give me a really good understanding of what playing against the CPU is like in Madden. The good, the bad, the atmospheres, the commentating, the presentation, all of that. I should have a really good feel for that if I play 7 to 8 games. I mean, if you don't know what you think about a game after you played a full game 7 to 8 times, I don't know what you've been looking at. The sixth thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to give Face of the Franchise a look. I give every single part of a sports game a look if it's my responsibility to review it, which is what I will be doing. My review will be on Forbes. So I give every part of it a look, even if it's a mode that I'm generally not interested in. Face of the franchise wouldn't necessarily qualify as something that I'm 100% not interested in. I may have some interest, but it's not. I know for a fact Face of the franchise is probably something that I would maybe play through one season of, and I probably wouldn't touch it again after that. My own personal gaming style. But I'll take a look at it and I'll see what's to it with the story. It's called United We Rise, and I believe, I don't know when you guys will see this video, but I believe Wednesday, July 7th, they're gonna run their debut trailer and give people the first look of Face of the franchise, so that people will learn about that. I don't believe that there's any college incorporated in that, but we'll find out. But that's going to be the sixth thing I do. The seventh thing that I'm going to do, and I know some of y'all are like, where's this? I'm going to give Mutt a look. I am not a huge Ultimate Team fan at all. I just think that a lot of times, like, salary cap mode is salary cap mode and draft champions I can play. Those are cool. I enjoy the drafting aspect of it. It's so fun. I remember when whatever they call it Mutt Champions or Mutt Draft or something now. But when it first came out, it was called Draft Champions. Man, I was like, this is amazing. This is like, it literally feels like you, and I think that, and this is one of the few times they rolled something out with some, marketing kind of slogan or term. And I was like, actually, it's about right. That's exactly how it feels. They were like, it kind of gives you that same feeling of doing your fantasy draft with your friends, but you get to do it over and over and over again. And that's kind of what Mutt Draft, the Draft Champions is. And that's true. And that's part of why I like that mode so much. And there's some limitations to it, right? So it's not just free for all. Everybody comes out with gold cards everywhere and all this, whatever. Just kind of to me, it kind of pollutes the sport a little bit. And yes, I know it's a video game, but bear with me. So that's why Mutt doesn't overall appeal to me, right? And there's the single player stuff that is super grindy, not as entertaining as Diamond Dynasty. Diamond Dynasty is like, even the individual little single player stuff against the CPU, there's so much variety to it. It's fun. And most of all, it still feels like baseball. Mutt sometimes feels like you're playing on the moon or something. I don't know what it is. Same thing with my team with 2K. But all of that said, I got to give it a look because so many people play Mutt, and I got to do a fair evaluation of the game. And if I don't look at it, if I don't play it, if I don't do all the different parts that they have to it, then I wouldn't be providing a thorough review. So I got to look at it, and I can't allow my distaste for it to creep into my review. So I can't write, oh, you know what? I don't really like Mutt. It sucks, but I guess it's okay. Well, guess what? Nobody who reads that is going to take what I say about Mutt serious because I just trashed it before I started talking about it. And I don't think it's like, I just don't particularly dig it. So I don't have a problem. I think this is very important if you're going to be a journalist, especially if you're going to be a journalist that provides reviews. I don't have a problem giving credit to something that is not necessarily for me. That's one of the things people really struggle with. And I've noticed that just over my life and having conversations with people. People have a hard time giving credit to things that they just are not into. Because everything that you're not into isn't horrible or isn't a bad thing. It's just not for you. Mutt just is not going to be my favorite thing, But I do see the quality of it. I do see why people like it. I do see why people get into it. It's just not anything that I like. So I keep that part of me out of my review, and I evaluated it to the best of my ability for the people who would love this. So, and I even talk to people sometimes. So what do you think about that? How does that make you feel? Because that is a good perspective to kind of put into a review if you're going to have a fair one. All right, so my eighth thing that I'm going to do when I get Madden is I'm going to play an online game controlling the Patriots. Now, the reason why I'm going to control the Patriots and not the Bears, and of course I will play with the Bears at some point, But with this, I want to see something about the Patriots, right? The Patriots should run a lot of 12 personnel because of the dual tight end situation. N'Keal Harry just demanded a trade. I don't think he's going to be on the roster anymore. So their alignment is going to be really interesting with Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith out there on both sides of the line. You got Cam Newton back there as a running threat. Damian Harris is in the backfield. The Patriots offensive line, I know they probably won't get as much respect as they're supposed to because Michael Onwenu is really underrated in Madden. He should be rated higher. The Patriots, I believe, are going to have a top 3-4 offensive line in the NFL. I mean, you go from the left to the right. Isaiah Wynn, as long as he's healthy, because he stays hurt a lot. You got Onwenu at one guard. David Andrews is at the center, and you got Shaq Mason's drastically underrated guy at the other guard, and then you got humongous Trent Brown on the right side. That offensive line should be serious, right? And then you're gonna run a lot of double tight ends. Gonna be real interesting, right? I predict that Stephon Gilmore will have his contract situation worked out. So I think the defense should be crazy. Stephon on one side, J.C. Jackson on the other side. You got Jalen Mills, who they just signed over from the Eagles, probably playing the slot. You got Kyle Duggar, Adrian Phillips, Devin McCourty. Jason McCourty's not there anymore, he's in Miami. But Jonathan Jones, they got guys. Then Dante Hightower's back from opting out. Cal Van Oy. You got Josh Uche, who's going to be underrated, but I think he'll be going up in player ratings. You got Lawrence Guy, Christian Barmore. The defense should be pretty nasty. Of course, the Bears defense should be good too. But I'm just interested, and I want to see what it's like playing online with the Patriots, especially since it's my job to know the Patriots roster up and down and to know the strengths and stuff like that up and down. So I really want to see what that translates to in an online game. Of course, I've already seen it in franchise mode, but now I want to see what it's like online. It's a different kind of thing. The ninth thing that I'm going to do, because now I'm stepping away from the game. Now I'm going to work, right? I'm going to cut up all this footage because everything that I just told you I'm going to do, I'm going to capture all of it. I'm going to be recording it all. So now it's time to cut up footage. I'm going to cut up footage. I'm going to get screenshots for content. So some of this content will be used on thumbnails for videos. Some of this content will be used as images that I use in my articles. Maybe it's the lead image, something to that effect. Maybe I'll take a screenshot of something to completely convey what my point is when I write my review, or if I write some sort of companion piece that says this is something that I really like about the game, this is something that I really don't like about the game, whatever. I just want a whole library of footage and media to use. Also, I'll use it for future videos. Like, say, for instance, I'm making a point and I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers, I'm talking about Derrick Henry, and I just happen to have some footage of him doing something in Madden from a game that I recorded, maybe from the first week that I had the game. That's all stuff that can go in as background stuff. So I keep and collect all of that stuff when I'm playing the game. That is super important, and it makes your editing and content creation really kind of flow a little bit better. The 10th and final thing that I'm going to do when I get Madden 22 is I am going to write and record my review. Not at the same time. I kind of group those together. So I'm going to do a video review that you'll be able to see on this channel. And then I'm going to write a review that you'll be able to read on Forbes. You can see the link to my writer profile for Forbes in the description of this video. But that is my process. That is what I do. That is how I do this. That's how I've been doing this for over 10 years, longer than a long time. So it's fun. It's pretty cool, but it is work. That might have sounded like 10 really cool things, and it is pretty cool. But I be dog tired at about 7 a lot of times. But we get it done. I don't have to necessarily do it all in one day. It really kind of depends on how quickly do they get me the review copy. When they get me the review copy early, I can cut this into stages and I can make my little notes on the side, and it's just like this whole more comfortable collection of things, and you get a better idea of what the full game is. Quite honestly, the embargo might lift for the review on a Friday, and they might give me the game on a Wednesday night or a Wednesday afternoon. So now I gotta stop everything I'm doing for the most part, start digging into that game on Wednesday, play it as much as I can that night, play it on Thursday, not to mention doing other things that I also have to do, They didn't do it on Friday, so I can get it up in time around, because a late review is just that. It's a late review. People generally are looking. I mean, people keep looking after that first weekend, but people are really looking to find out what the deal is with the game within the first 48 hours of when it hits the stores. So that's when I want my content to be up. Doesn't mean I have to be done writing or making videos about the game, but I do want my scored review up. I've been blessed enough to have my score reviews all show up on. So when I do them on Forbes, it's a part of the whole Metacritic review score for the games. So that's pretty dope. But yeah, so you want to get it up in a timely manner. So that's what I do. I didn't actually even realize when I started this video that it was going to evolve into me kind of giving my process for what I do to review a game. But that's what it became. I hope you guys found that helpful, inspiring, maybe in case you decide you want to be, to cover sports games, to cover sports, period. I'm telling you, man, I am blessed beyond I can even describe, to say to you guys, to be able to, my writing profile for Forbes, it says, I am blessed enough to make a living having conversations that I would have for free. All of this stuff I'm talking to you guys about, every time I turn this microphone on, every time I look in that camera, when I'm having this conversation, this is stuff that I've been talking about since I was a kid for free, with pretty much the same amount of passion that I talk about it to you guys and when I write about it. And it is an absolute blessing. So I'm hoping that I can be encouraging or a blessing to somebody else to understand that if you want to do this, you can do it too, because I'm not really special. God just blessed me. So I appreciate you guys watching. God bless and peace.